One autumn, in a place that is now called Canada, but in those days was the land of the Passamaquoddy tribe, a girl and her 3 older brothers went to the forest to hunt for game over the winter. They found a good place to make camp and built a wigwam. Since she was the youngest, each morning after her 3 older brothers went hunting, the girl took care of the camp, gathered fresh firewood, repaired holes in their wigwam, and prepared dinner. Before nightfall, the brothers would return carrying the game they captured. Over dinner, they would all share stories of the day's adventures. One night at dinner, the brothers were silent. "Why are you all so quiet?" said their sister. "Today I saw strange footprints to the north," said her eldest brother, "like those of a man, but much larger." "So did I," said the brother who ventured south. The third brother, who hunted to the west, nodded in agreement. No one needed to say anything else because they were all thinking the same thing: a Chenoo must be nearby, the cruel, brutal giant cannibal from the far icy north. After a tense minute, the eldest brother smiled and said, "Oh, it must have just been the tracks of a bear." And they all laughed with relief and joked how they had been fooled by mere bear tracks. But the girl did not laugh. She too had seen tracks when she had gathered berries to the east, and knew they were not the tracks of a bear. They were from a Chenoo monster. Before sunrise the next morning, the brothers left to hunt. But the girl did not tend to her usual tasks. She cleared the wigwam and piled each bearskin that she and her brothers slept upon in a single pile in the center. Beside the bearskin pile, she laid baskets filled with berries and fruit. She gathered fresh firewood, then sat by the fire and waited. While the sun was still low in the sky, a very large shadow was cast over her fire. Out of the woods stepped the terrible Chenoo monster. Huge and horrible looking, he looked fiercely at her. The sister smiled pleasantly at the beast and said, "Grandfather, my heart is glad that at last you have come to see us. Where have you been for so long? I prepared a fire for your lunch. Or perhaps you would like to lay down inside first and rest. Your bed is made and there are baskets of fruit by it. You look tired from your travels." The Chenoo monster was amazed beyond measure at such a greeting where he expected yells and prayers. In quiet wonder, he let himself be led into the wigwam. The girl said she had brought a suit she had stitched to fit him. She told him to dress himself and be cleaned. He did as she told. He sat inside the wigwam on the bearskin bed. He did not lie down and looked sad, but kept quiet. She arose and went out. She kept gathering wood for the fire. The Chenoo monster rose and followed her. She was in great fear. Now, she thought, my death is near. He will kill and devour me. The Chenoo monster said, "Give me the axe." She gave it and he began to cut down the trees. She had never seen such chopping. The great pines fell right and left like summer saplings. The boughs were hewed and split as if by a storm. Soon the pile of wood was twice as high as the top of their wigwam. She cried out, "Grandfather, there is enough. You must be tired from all your cutting, please rest." So the Chenoo monster laid down the axe, walked into the wigwam, sat down on the pile of bearskin rugs, still in grim silence. The girl continued to gather wood and remained silent outside the lodge while he slept. Before darkness fell, her 3 brothers returned from their day's hunt. She walked quickly to them, and with a fierce look said, "Brothers, you will be pleased to know our grandfather is in the tent." Surprised, they started to object, but she firmly held her hand outstretched and said, "I am sure grandfather will be glad to hear all about your adventures later, but first we must be silent and give him time to rest." At that moment the huge, hairy head of the Chenoo monster looked out of the wigwam. Before her brothers could cry out with alarm, The girl said with a smile, "Grandfather, you have awakened. I am glad, because now your grandsons have come back and we can all have dinner." But turning to her brothers, she said with as light a voice as she could muster, "And how was it with the hunt today?" "Not so good," gulped one of the brothers, staring fixedly at the Chenoo monster. "All I have is this hair." "And I a goose," mumbled her second brother, also staring at the Chenoo monster. "I got a deer," offered her third brother. The Chenoo monster spoke. "Granddaughter," he said, "have your brothers brought no other game?" "Whatever your grandsons have hunted today, I will cook for your dinner, grandfather," said the girl, "in honor of your visit." The Chenoo monster said nothing but disappeared into the woods.